So we have boot camp today. It's Wednesday. We're gonna do 3 rounds of our workout today. We're gonna do 45, 15 with a mix of upper, lower, and cardio. And I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick demo, and then we'll get right into our warm up and into the workout. So for our first move, we're gonna do plank toe taps. Oh, I almost hit my head. So we're gonna start off on our hands and toes, and we're gonna go ahead, push our hips up towards the ceiling, tap one toe, back down, and then the other side, and back down. So that's gonna be our first movement. And then we're gonna go ahead and stand on up. We're gonna do some curtsy lunges. So curtsy lunges, we're gonna alternate here so we don't have to do all on one leg. So we're gonna step back behind diagonal, hips are forward, do our curtsy lunge, and then the other side. So that is our second movement. And then we're gonna get back on the ground. We're gonna do plank knee to elbow. So again, hands and toes. This one, you can either come across and do the opposite elbow, or you can do the same side, or you can alternate. So whatever feels good for you there. And then from here, we're gonna do our tall kneeling to the bottom of a squat and back down. So starting off on our knees, stepping up 1 foot at a time, back down, and then the other foot, and back down. So that's gonna be our fourth movement. And then we're gonna get more into the cardio aspect of things. So first one, we're gonna do a lateral bound, starting off on one side, jumping over, landing on one foot, keeping our other foot up off the ground if we can, and to the other side. So going as far as we can, depending on your space. I know I don't have a lot, so my jumps aren't as big as if I were in the studio. And then finally, we're gonna finish off with a triple switch into a single leg Romanian deadlift. So we have here, we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, push your hips back, push the ground away, and then 1, 2, 3, and the other side. So that is gonna be our whole workout for today. And so let's go ahead. We're gonna get started with some quadruped rocks here for the first part of our warm up with an adductor stretch. So making our way onto the ground on our hands and our knees. We're gonna take one foot, we're gonna stick it straight out to the side like a kickstand, keeping our pinky toe on the ground. And we're gonna go ahead and inhale, rock back. Exhale, forward. Inhaling back. Exhaling forward. We're gonna do 2 more on this side, coming back. And forward. And last one, coming back. And forward. And after we finish our last one, we're gonna go ahead and bring our knee back up underneath our hip. We're gonna go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So other foot straight out to the side. Pinky toe stays on the ground. We're gonna inhale, rock back. Exhale, forward. Inhaling back. Exhaling forward. We're gonna go ahead and do 2 more, coming back. And forward. And last one, coming back. And forward. Right after we finish our last one, we can go ahead and bring our knee back up underneath our hip, almost at shoulder. And from here, we're gonna go ahead and tuck our toes and push ourselves up into some down dog or pike, whatever you would like to call it. And we're gonna go ahead, pedal our heel. So go ahead, pressing one heel into the ground. And we're gonna go ahead and switch over. And we're gonna switch one more time. And switching the last heel. And then we can always poke our head in between our arms, really open up our upper back. And then we can go ahead, let's go ahead and go to plank. We're gonna push ourselves back up and back down. We're gonna do one more here coming up. And then you can go ahead, since we are starting off with some plank toe taps, you can go ahead, gently bring our knees to the ground, and we are ready to rock and roll. So starting off, like I said, we're doing 3 rounds here, 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest / transition time. We're starting with our plank toe taps. So getting ready on our hands and knees. I'm going to get the timer going here. 3, 2, 1, and go. So on our hands and toes, just like with our push-ups, making sure our hands are screwed into the ground. Exhaling as we push the ground away. And tapping our opposite toe. This is a great way to help us work on our single arm strength and stability, as well as working on our core. Multi-level movement here. So pushing up, tapping our opposite toe. If that's really not feeling great for you, you can always just do a regular plank to pike. 3, 2, 1. All right, next up, we have curtsy lunges. So we're alternating here, stepping back behind diagonal. We're getting ready. 3, 2, 1. So no matter where we are when we step back behind diagonal, we really want our headlights to be from our hips coming forward. So that's really what's going to help us keep the weight in our glutes here. So we don't want to be opened up because that's really going to put the pressure on our knees versus here. We're going to feel that more in our glutes, driving through that front heel, big toe, little toe as we go. You can always make this a little bit more challenging by not standing up all the way, by adding some weight and also taking your time. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, we have plank knee to elbow. So you can either do same side or opposite side, whatever feels good for you today. 3, 2, 1. So again, either coming over and across or exhaling, same side. Really making sure that as we drive our knees, we're exhaling. So that way it brings our core together. So it's like we're zipping our 6-pack up. We are using our core to bring our knee up, not the other way around. So we really want to go at a nice pace where we're really activating and using our core muscles here. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. All right. Next up, we have our tall kneeling to a squat. So we're staying on our knees, nice and tall through our torso. We're going to alternate our feet as we step up. 3, 2, 1. So planting our foot, just like with a regular squat, our knee is right over our second toe. Our chest is in the middle. We're driving through our heel, big toe, little toe, going into the bottom of our squat. And then same thing on the other side again, stepping, coming up, and back down. So we're alternating our feet. That way we get practice with each foot. You might even, this might be that time where you start to really notice a difference in between your legs, which is why I chose single leg things today to really help us work on each leg by itself. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, lateral bounds. So we're going to be going back and forth, side to side. Then we have our triple switches, and then we're going to start back at the top and do that 2 more times. 3, 2, 1. Okay. So we're stepping. Oh my gosh, we're not stepping. We're pushing our hips back. We're loading like we have a rubber band. We're pulling the rubber band and we're releasing and landing. So I really want us to avoid putting our back foot on the ground. Try and stay on one foot. Again, working on single leg balance and stability. If you need to take a second as you jump over to really make sure your balance is good. Great job. Now this one is really good for our stability and balance here. 3, 2, 1. All right. Last part here, triple switch. into our single leg RDL. And then we got 2 more rounds here. 3, 2, 1. So 1 knee up, going 1, 2, 3. Whoops. Pushing our hips back, push ground away. Making sure balance, right? We got the balance down. Making sure that we're pushing our hips back. We're not just bending our chest forward. So really driving through the hips, coming up. We want 90-degree angles in our hips and in our knee. And keeping our core engaged, sinking into our hip. Lots of balance and stability today. 3, 2, 1. All right, great job. I'm gonna grab a sip of water, but we got plank toe taps next. So starting back at the top, we're getting ready. 3, 2, 1. So on our hands and toes, pushing ourselves up, bringing our opposite hand over to our toe and back. Exhaling, bringing our core together as we tap the opposite toe. If needed, if that's not feeling good or your shoulders aren't at that point of the single arm stability here, not a problem. Feel free.
Jazzi, you're muted.
Thank you. So sorry about that. Don't know what's happening with my computer. First, my internet kicks me off, and then they mute me. Just kidding. But we're doing curtsy lunges. We're on track still. We didn't lose any time. We're good. We're stepping through our front foot, making sure that our hips are still facing forward, letting our knee track past our second toe, keeping our chest over the arch of our front foot. All right, we're at a few more seconds here. 3, 2, 1. All right. Okay, going back to the ground, plank knee to elbow. Getting ready. 3, 2, 1. So plank knee to elbow, we're either coming across or the same side, making sure we're staying nice and straight. I know I'm not good at doing that. So making sure our hands are screwed in, that's gonna help our upper back do what it needs to do and help our shoulder blades stay in place. And then we're one straight line from our head to our shoulders, to our hips, and our heels as flat as we can. My back is sore today. All right. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, we have our tall kneeling into a squat. So staying on our knees, we're alternating our feet. 3, 2, 1. So we're stepping one foot. Again, knees coming forward, just like with our squats. And we're alternating here. So making sure that we're not just stepping straight up, that's going to put the pressure on our knee. But when we come forward and drive through our heel, big toe, little toe, we're going to feel it in our quads and in our glutes, not in our knee joints, hopefully. Great job. We're doing awesome. And these ones can be a little bit taxing. Again, I chose a lot of single leg things for us today. We're working one leg at a time. 3, 2, 1. All right, we're standing up. We have lateral bounds next. And then triple switches. And then we got one more round. 3, 2, 1. So we're coming across, across. I keep saying it as if we were doing curtsy lunges. We're not doing those just yet. So we're coming back. Again, like we have a rubber band, we're releasing and landing. So making sure that when we land, we're sinking into our hip. It's going to help us with our balance. So I should say sinking into our glutes, really. So our hips are slightly back in our base position here. Trying to land nice and soft with our balance. Using the core as well. I know I'm not the best at that, so that was a reminder for myself. 3, 2, 1. All right, I clearly need to work on my balance skills too. Okay, we have our triple switches next, and then we got one more round, and we're gonna cool down. 3, 2, 1. So we're here. 1, 2, 3. And just like with our lateral bounds, we're really sinking into our glutes, slight bend in the knee. This is really honestly almost the same position as the lateral bound. It actually pretty much is the same. Making sure too, when we're doing the triple switch, we just want to be on our toes, we're on the balls of our feet. And then when we do our RDL here, we have our heel. And as always, if the single leg is not for you today, no problem. Go ahead, touch your toe down. 3, 2, 1. All right. 2 down, 1 to go. We got plank toe taps. We're on the ground on our hands and toes. 3, 2, 1. All right, last round here, y'all. Screwing our palms into the ground. Shoulder blades are locked in. Tapping our toe. And back down. Making sure too that when we get into our plank, can't believe I did not mention this yet. Our hands are staying below our shoulders. So we're not here, right here. So palm directly down from the shoulder. That's going to protect our joints. And then same thing, keeping our pelvis tucked too. So that way we're not pushing our hips below our shoulders. We're not feeling that in our low back. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, curtsy lunges. Working on our glutes there. Single leg movement as well. 3, 2, 1. All right. So we got back behind diagonal. Hips are forward. That's going to help us with our core as well. Our anti-rotation here. I almost said a squat in between. Really driving through our heel, big toe, little toe of the foot in front. Keeping our core engaged, exhaling as we stand back up. Doing awesome. Finishing strong. Last round can always be the hardest round. We're finishing out on top here. 3, 2, 1. Almost fell over. All right, done with those for today. We have 4 more movements here. Plank, knee to elbow, and then our kneeling squats. 3, 2, 1. All right, getting situated here, checking off all the things from our checklist. And again, if you were rotating or alternating between the same side and the opposite side for the whole thing, we could keep doing that. If you did 1 round of one of the other, you can do whichever one you want for this last one. But if we're doing across our body, we are working on our rotation. So we're going to feel that more in our obliques as well as our core versus the same side. We're going to feel that a little bit more straight in the core. 3, 2, 1. All right. Done with those. Love-hate relationship with those ones for sure. All right, we got kneeling to squat next. 3, 2, 1. So we're stepping up. And back down. This is a great way to really work on our unilateral or single leg movements. I know my right side, even though I'm like right-handed, my right leg doesn't activate or use the muscles the same way my left leg does because of years of overuse of softball. So this is a great way for me personally to bring up one side. So if y'all also have that experience, 3, 2, 1. If y'all have that experience, it will help with that as well. All right, last 2 movements here. We have lateral bounds and then triple switches. 3, 2, 1. I have more room when I go this way. I'll face the camera this way. So again, keeping our back leg off the ground, sinking into our hip. Maybe I'm gonna go this way. Just kick the wall. Okay. Really sinking into our hip. So again, it's very similar to our single leg Romanian deadlift. We're not really pushing our hips back as far. We're just really landing and gathering ourselves. It's going to be good for our joints because we're going to use more muscles that way. 3, 2, 1. All right. Last movement here. And then we're going to go ahead and end on the ground on our hands and knees with some reach throughs here. But we got our last movement. 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. Push our hips back. Push the ground away. And also, again, if the single leg is not feeling good, go ahead, bring your toe down, do more of our staggered stance or kickstand stance Romanian deadlift. The key is to make sure that we're leading with our hips, keeping our core engaged, our back is nice and flat. Really feeling it in our glutes here. 3, 2, 1. And that is going to be it for today's circuit. So go ahead, grab a sip of water if you need it. Like I said, we're going to be on our hands and knees. We're going to do some reach throughs, getting some rotation in and opening up our upper body. So we're going to take one arm and we're going to reach through in between our opposite arm, opposite leg. Our hand and our head and our shoulder are all going towards the ground. And we push our hand into the ground, pull away with our upper back, or you can just reach out a little bit further, and that's also going to have the same effect. We're breathing in through our nose and exhaling, sighing away our tension. Really slowing the breath down. And at this point, if you want, you can take your opposite hand, wrap it all the way around your body, tucking it into our opposite side hip, pointing our shoulder towards the ceiling. It's going to open up our chest and our shoulders on that arm. So I like to call this a little bit like pretzel, but it's just, obviously it's different, but mainly just pretzel for our upper body. We're going to go ahead and do one more breath here. And as we finish our exhale, we can gently bring our hands back up underneath our shoulders. And we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to take our other hand, reaching in between the opposite arm, opposite leg. Again, you can either reach out a little bit further or you can push your hand into the ground, pull away with our upper back. We want to feel this mainly right underneath our shoulder blade here. It also, you might feel it in your traps or the back of your shoulders, again, depending on what is tight, but you also can play around with that and point your hand down or up whatever feels good. And also at this time, take our opposite hand, wrapping it around our body, tucking it into our opposite side hip, pointing our shoulder towards the ceiling. And let's go and do one more breath here. And as we finish our exhale, when we're ready, we can go ahead and bring our hands back up underneath our shoulders. And feel free to stay on the ground, or you can return to a seated, kneeling, or standing position, but that's going to be all the time we have for today. So thank you for joining me. Sorry about the little intermission we had there, but great job. Hopefully we got a good workout in there, and then have a great day, and I'll see you again tomorrow.